Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we pair up with Beer Snack Club for some beer and snack pairings. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us.
First things first, Rowan, do you want to introduce yourself, who you are, what your job title is, and where you come from?
Yeah, sure. My name's Rowan, whatever you prefer, and I am the I suppose founder or co-founder at least with my better half Mel of Beer Snack Club, and we're based in West London in a quaint-ish town called Acton.
Amazing. So I think kind of anybody that does actually follow me on Instagram will probably remember I got some snacks from you before, and I did like a live unboxing of the snacks. So people might be familiar already with who you are, but I thought maybe you could share a bit of sort of the story behind your business, what were you doing before you started the business, and then what kind of led you to wanting to start the business?
Okay. I suppose I fell in love with craft beer, I suppose, just outside. So I did a master's in marketing about 2012, 2013. And the first project that I did on it was a branding project that I ended up doing on beer. I was like, well, why else? What else am I actually interested in? The only project I ended up getting a distinction for is fantastic. Ended with a borderline merit. I'll take it. It's fine. Very expensive merit. But from there is where I actually, because I did the whole project, I ended up doing the project on Foster's Gold, because I was looking into how domestic brands had started to premiumize themselves, and obviously they'd lowered their ABV to 4.8% in order to save duty, and so from there I ended up discovering this little phrase, craft beer. I was like, what's going on here? This is something I should probably investigate, and then slowly but surely I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole. I mean, you can't really fall slowly, can you? What does gravity do?
No.
But no, I ended up having my first beer, which was for most people Punk IPA on draft, and it was back when it was over 6%, and it was wonderful. And it started my foray into craft beer. So that's basically it. And in terms of work wise, I think I in about 2016, 2017, I started working for a couple of breweries in terms of as a kind of like sales rep, distributor, freelance sales rep. Just a couple of them. There was Concrete Cow Brewery up in Milton Keynes, and there was one called Decent Brewery that's now unfortunately defunct. And I started building relationships in London as well. Trying to build a business from that, but unfortunately it was a side hustle at the time, so it didn't last very long. But that's basically what kind of led me back into wanting to get into something that I could manage more easily without having to leave my home, I guess. And so Craft House Deli and Beer Snack Club were born.
Yeah, no. So I know, like, sort of originally at the start, you were just doing snacks, and was that? Did you always kind of have? We'll kind of go more into the beer side of things when we get into like what you offer now, but did you kind of always know, well, snacks go great with beer? Like, what made you land on snacks, and did you always want to bring beer into it, or?
Oh, that's 100% the idea. Came up with the name Craft House Deli simply because we wanted to sell beers, snacks that went with them, and then we wanted to do like some craft products as well. So always loved the idea of craft products or craft not being just sequestrated to beer itself, because obviously it's something that's a food or drink product that's handmade, that's independent, that's produced in a small quantity to maintain product control, and so Craft House Deli was born out of the idea that we wanted to just stock independent food and drink products, but made specifically in London. The whole kind of made in London idea kind of made sense because I'm a huge believer in shopping locally and keeping things regional, that kind of thing, rather than going for anything kind of more widespread and mass produced, and so that was the idea. Obviously what we started off with was doing the beer snacks, and obviously I reached out to a lot of craft beer geeks on Instagram to help us promote it, such as yourself. Not calling you a geek, mate, but
no, I want to take that. I just want to take this moment to say, like, I am so happy that you didn't use the word influencer.
She hates it.
And that you
She
went
hates
geek
it so much.
like that. I would take geek. I am geek. Like,
who says that in craft beer?
So many people.
No,
So
it's
many
minging.
people.
It's
And
minging.
I'm
So
like,
many
It's
people.
horrible.
I can't influence. I always maintain I can't influence anyone to do anything. So I can't influence my dog to eat her dinner. Like,
No,
yeah,
it's a horrible buzzword, isn't it? And,
yeah, but
not really that.
I take geek. I am full on geek. Like,
Yeah.
totally have beer geek, pop culture geek, video game, like all that kind of stuff geek. So I will take that. I just when you said
100%.
reached out to, and I was going, oh god, is he going to say influencers? And then you didn't, and then my heart just went like, woo!
Who do you think I am, Tori?
I think I'm just so used to hearing people say it that I was like, oh,
it sounds it's such a contrived thing to say as well. It just it's like, yes, we're going to reach out to the influencers to create a network effect and cascade our influence around the industry. No, it's horrible.
Bro, you made me so happy when you just said that. Thank you.
But yeah, so that was kind of the I think that was the idea. So just kind of wanted to get our snacks out there initially. So we had a load of decent snacks. Wanted to see. I think because we were taking so long trying to get our license sorted, and we're still kind of fiddling around with the idea of what do we stock. Are we going to maintain this kind of path? How much stock will we have to get in if we end up being like a proper online deli where we have a huge array of craft beers, a huge array of snacks, a huge array of hot sauces, for instance? Like how many SKUs are we going to have? How are we going to manage stock when we both have full-time jobs? Like it's going to be a bloody nightmare. So and then obviously the personal premises license conundrum, where we're going to stock everything. So all of those issues kind of came into it. So I wanted to kind of push the beer snack idea initially because obviously we had a load of snacks and I wanted to go down that route to see if that was something that people were craving. And obviously there is definitely demand there, but the problem is there's more demand for craft beer.
Yeah.
So yeah. So long story short, because this is definitely taking too long to tell, we ended up consolidating the whole stock management thing. Just kind of sacked off the idea of having too many SKUs, too much stock, full stop, to be honest, because it just takes too much time, and ended up just going for a subscription box. Got 3 beers, 3 snacks, keep it simple. There's no need to constantly count all the stock. So it's honestly, to go down the box route was simply to save time and stress and our relationship.
Yeah, I don't know, but I will say that like you guys did have such a massive array of like different snacks, and like a lot of it, there was maybe like a handful of things that I'd seen in other places, but a lot of it was quite unique to just your place. I think that's the thing is you tend to see like beer nuts places and certain type of jerky, but you had birthday cake popcorn, which is one of the things you sent me. And I was just oh my god, that made my whole day. I love birthday cake flavored things in general, and it was like I'd never seen that anywhere else. So it was just you had a lot of really interesting snacks that I was really sort of excited about. But I can understand how there's probably a lot of people drinking that they want snacks, but they don't want to go and put an order in separately for snacks. If you can give them something that's beer and snacks together, it does make the most sense, doesn't it?
No, exactly. I mean, that was the conundrum we had. We either, get our asses in gear and get the beers ordered, and that meant, if we maintained Craft House Deli, which is still a limited company, but if we maintained that kind of route, we would have had to get a huge amount of stock in. And trust me, the strain that puts financially on you initially, if you're bootstrapping, is massive. Or alternatively, go down the grocery store route and just have a proper online grocery store. And then what? Are we going to have to start refrigerating goods? I mean, am I going to store milk and butter? Yeah. I'm not a butter kind of guy. I can't do that.
Amazing.
I love how you phrase that. But speaking of beer and snacks, should we crack open the first combination? Which one should we do first?
It's totally up to you. Totally up to you, Joe. You got your.
I've got my box. Right, so I've got my box. I thought I'd show the box for those that are watching the video. Very lovely
Which
box.
Is also above my top left shoulder.
Yeah, it's lovely box. It's got your snacks, and it hasn't got the beers in it because obviously I put those in the fridge. It's really lovely and well presented. I enjoyed opening this. It was a lovely experience.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it is. It's lovely.
You do have the pairing notes in there as
Got
well.
my little
don't
card, yeah.
Yes.
Got my card.
Hey.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So for full disclosure for anybody that's either listening to or basically this is we'll get more into the beer and snack box, but just the very like high level overview before we do that is your boxes, the way you do them now is you kind of do it based on a location. And this one is Sheffield.
That's right.
So all three of these beers are going to be, well, they are Sheffield based. So
That's right.
Yeah, Joe, I'll let you pick the first one to go with.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with the goes, because that just sounds really.
You want to
pull
pull, yeah. You want to put off having the Nipa.
I do, yeah.
I've got to say that would be a very pleasant way to end the show, the Nipa. I'm just saying. It's lovely. Yeah.
So the goes, according to your pairing notes, will go with the roasted fava bean snack. So are the snacks also from the location in which you've got the beers, or is it just the beers that come from Sheffield?
So we will look all the time. So as you can imagine, in a town, it's going to be really hard to find the right snack to go with a beer, because there's not going to be enough manufacturers of the right snack that you want to go with that specific beer. So
that's my exact thought.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was quite a difficult one. So I think what you've got there, the fava beans, they're not. I think they're just from south of Leeds, which is still in Yorkshire. So what we've done is, if we can't find the right snack in the specific town, then we'll reach out to the wider region. So went Yorkshire. I think they're there, or they might be somewhere East Yorkshire. Can't remember. I should know this.
Roughly in the vicinity.
It's in Yorkshire. There we go.
That works.
It does say that. So on it does. To be fair, it does say box on Sheffield, and the region is Yorkshire. So
yeah,
it is. Give you that. It is Yorkshire.
We cover ourselves there. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. So this is. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Thalia.
Yeah,
Thalia.
Yeah.
Chuckleberry and raspberry goes from Neepsend.
That's right.
We went by, so when we went up to Brew with Heist, we went by Neepsend.
We went past,
we didn't have time to go in it.
No,
we didn't have time to stop by at all.
I don't think I've had a beer by Neepsend before, so
I haven't either.
First one.
Well, they haven't been around for too long. I think only since about 2015-16, but they've got a nice little brewing tradition. I think they had to what did they have to do? They had to pivot a little bit during pandemic. They were primarily focused on doing real ale, and then obviously pandemic hit and all of their pub trade went down, because obviously they were supplying a lot of the local pub areas. So that's when they switched over to cans. But I really quite like this beer. I think
it's really lovely.
It could be a bit sweeter. However, I still think it's a very modern goes, and it's got that nice natural souring to it. So obviously you've got that nice kind of pinch of salt that's standard to goes as well, and it's got a lovely mouthfeel as well. And I hate that word mouthfeel, but I can't think of any way to say it.
Yeah, no, but it is.
It's got a really lovely body.
It's not too thin, which I think sometimes like some goes can be quite on the thin side. I mean, they still taste nice, but they can be on the thinner side. And I think that slight bit more thickness to it just adds to the way the flavors balance out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
I think to be fair, if this was sweeter for me, I feel like it's just perfectly balanced with the sweet level and the acidity. So I think that if it was any sweeter, it would throw the acidity out of whack, and I just think it would be too much. I think this is like
okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really lovely there.
I don't know why I'm thank you.
Yeah, you like thank you so much.
I didn't brew it.
Right, let's try it now with the fava beans. So it says here
they are chili and lemon. Just a warning.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with this. I like spice.
Okay, excellent.
So what should we be sort of tell us how this should be pairing quite well with this?
Well, I think the lemon itself, the acidity from the fava beans blends quite nicely into the sour elements as well, and it kind of creates almost like this explosion of additional flavor. You've got additional salt from the fava beans as well that enhances the sweetness of the Thalia, and then obviously the chili kind of maintains a nice little pleasant kick throughout. But yeah, that's hopefully what you're going to get.
I like that Sorry, I'm trying not to talk my mouth over.
That's
I like
okay.
that the fava beans, they're not too hard, because I've had some snacks that are like dried snacks that end up being like really crunchy, like almost to the point that it feels like you're cracking your tooth.
Yeah.
And these just aren't like that. They're really
No.
just easy to.
Yeah, they've got they add a nice crunch, but they've got a nice.
It doesn't feel like you're cracking a tooth on it.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
just
I think that's really important.
Texture.
And I think there's a bit of a texture match as well, because you've got that slightly thicker body from the goes as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
it's not too spicy either, to be fair.
No, they're not very spicy.
Okay.
I'm not much of one for spice, but these are all right.
Okay,
I think
good.
I'm a massive
You're a massive
spice person,
and I'm not spice at all.
And I did have
hot.
I did have hot sauce with dinner, so that would that's probably taken the edge off for me.
Yeah, it's probably tempered your tongue a bit. Yeah, fair enough. I think what's good as well, because it's only I think it's 4.4%. Higher ABV tends to accentuate a spice as well, and so, or at least it enhances like capsaicin and other spicy kind of compounds. Can't remember the technical name for them, but they the fact that it's slightly lower means that you can actually enjoy it more as a snack, and hopefully it won't be too overpowering.
Yeah, no, I think they balance really well.
I was going to say, like, looking at the notes that you had written down for it, where it says the go sourness blends with the lemon acidity, I was thinking that before I properly read it, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's I feel like that is spot on, nailed it. Really lovely beer as well. Yeah, high in protein and fiber. That's a good one. That's good.
That's always important. Yeah. You want to know that you're having something healthy with your beer, don't you?
Yeah, because like the thing is, my husband always says to me, like, your beer is enough calories to be a meal. Like, he's always pointing it out at the wrong times. I'm like,
rude.
Like, bruh, chill.
Do you mind, bruh?
Yeah, like, come on now. So at least I can be like, but this is healthy, and it's vegan, gluten-free. That's
I hope they're vegan. I mean,
yeah. Well, I guess it's like whatever they sort of make it with, I guess, could not be vegan. But yeah,
true. I mean, if they're using like lactose powder or something like that, if they want to make like a cheesy
yeah. But yeah, no, this is really lovely.
Those are nice.
Kind of brings me into the next set of questions before we go into the next.
Ooh, before you do, I'm just going to crack open my beer.
Oh yeah, what are you having? I forgot. You're not having these.
I know. I'm so sorry. So for everyone else that was listening, I was up at Glasgow I say Glasgow, and I'm definitely Southern. So Glasgow. I was up in Glasgow at the over the weekend, because obviously to complement the boxes which we're basing on every town, we're doing a podcast up in those respective regions / towns as well. So we did Sheffield a couple of weeks ago, which was fantastic, and then we did Glasgow over the weekend, which was amazing. And one of the podcasts we did was with Vinny at Vinny's Drinks Reviews, and he brought me some of his homebrew, which you'll see on the screen in front of you. Now I am worried, because we did have to bring this back in a suitcase, and I'm expecting marginal, staggeringly good-esque wrecker explosions. I hope it doesn't, but it's a red ale, so it should be fine.
Well, I was going to say what actually was it? Red ale.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's why I always keep kitchen roll next to me when I'm opening bottles anymore. Full stop.
So red ale.
Ooh,
it looks very nice. It's very brown.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep red. It's not okay. All right.
There's nice head retention on that though.
Yeah, that looks lovely. He's done very well there, actually.
This is the visual part of the recording.
If you're listening,
really great.
For our listeners.
Yeah, it's really pleasant. It's got a nice kind of like chocolatey, kind of soft medium body to it as well. So for anyone who doesn't know Vinny at Vinny's Drinks Reviews. Anyway, so that's so back to me.
Yeah. Back to you. I guess my next kind of line of questions, kind of how, so you're into these beer and snack pairings. You've got some quite like, there's each of these pamphlets kind of have the notes about the pairings and the taster notes on them, why they blend together well. And I mean, you've just explained it as well. You speak about very knowledgeable. How like, where did you get this knowledge from of how to do these pairings? Was this something that you like self-taught? Did you like study it somewhere? Like, how did you know exactly what you wanted to pair together and what worked together?
Just eating and drinking a lot, mate.
Is it all just it's all just trial and error where you're like, oh, actually this works really well with that?
I think it was initially. Yeah, pretty much. That plus obviously a few books as well. Brewmaster's Table was an obvious starting point by Garrett Oliver. Julia Hertz's book as well, from craftbeer.com. But then, there are a few decent podcasts you should listen to. If you've heard of the Homebrew Chef, which Joe, I know you cook with beer sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know Sean Paxton?
No, I don't actually. I tend to get mine from Mark Dredge.
Okay.
Brewmaster's Table just came off of my shelf.
Standard, excellent.
Yeah, Mark Dredge does really good ones. He's got a book called Cooking with Beer and Beer and Food, so he does really good stuff as well.
Oh, I'll definitely look into that as well. I think, I mean, it's for me, it was just, taking those. Oh, obviously there's another podcaster actually, whose name has escaped me, but he does a podcast called From Bean to Barstool, where he pairs. Oh, you know him.
I know that one. Yeah, I follow that. I feel like I don't know any. Instagram.
I feel like I don't know any of these, and now I'm like,
they do the chocolate and beer pairings.
Chocolate and beer pairings, and he goes into intricate detail as to how to actually taste chocolate properly. Apparently, you're supposed to let it lie on your tongue for a minute. Can't see me doing that ever.
I can't do that. I don't have I don't have the patience to do that. And also, I like chocolate too much that I just like. My husband always has to like, we'll split some M&Ms or something, and we'll be like, we're gonna split the bag of M&Ms. That's how. And then I'll like finish the bag, my half of the bag, like really quick. And he's like, did you even taste them? Meanwhile, he sits there and he'll like chop an M&M in half, and I'm like, what kind of savage is capable of doing that? Like, I don't understand. I was like, how do you not just want to eat the whole thing? And he's just like, I have self-control. And I was like, I couldn't.
Self-control, and then there's being mental. I mean,
I mean, it's not. I just am like, I don't understand how you can just sit there and be so patient eating one M&M. I'm done with the whole pack before he's gone through 3. It's just insanity. But yeah, I love food. I love beer. So all these things, I'd never heard of these books and podcasts.
No, it's a really good one, because we ended up doing a chocolate and beer pairing with a bottle shop on Ecclesall Road in Sheffield called Craft and Berry, we ended up pairing some orange chocolate with an orange, I think it was like an orange real ale, I can't remember what it was specifically, an amber ale, and it works, like, it's really strange, but it's hard when you're pairing sweet with beer. Then more often than not, the sweetness does have this tendency of eroding the sweetness from the beer, therefore leaving almost like this kind of, depending what beer it is, it's could be just like a bittery sour liquid, and it just kind of takes away from all the malt sweetness that it would have. But
we went to Three Hills. I'm going to date this episode. I don't care, because I need to talk about this because it was so good. So we went to Three Hills because they did at the Outpost in London. Because they've done a Japanese Swiss roll and beer pairing, and they teamed up with Shima in London to get 3 different cakes and 3 different beers, and it was a triple IPA, a sour, one of their forbidden fruits, which was a mango one, and one of their, was it the BPAVK? Yeah. They
did the vanilla custard one.
The vanilla custard one.
Oh, it was I had the baby version of that at the weekend.
I've got the baby version of that. I bought the baby version of that, which is the chocolate and vanilla custard tart.
Yeah.
And I've got the tiramisu, because I couldn't leave without those, because the BPAVKs are like
such a good range.
Probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's just always pairing, and it was so, the way the flavors just matched so spot on. I was just like, I felt like I wanted to do more cake, more dessert pairings with beer.
No, it's fantastic. And they always have to be high ABV. If you're going to be pairing something with quite a high sweetness, it has to be high ABV to pair with it. So you're going to have a good time. You might not remember it, but you'll have a good time.
Yeah, basically, I ended up with all the tipper because I went with Joe. I went with Joe and our other friends, and neither of them are like massive hoppy hop beer people, and they were like, we just want a sip to go with the thing, and they're like, it's mostly yours. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, this is for me, happy days. So I didn't really realize that though. So higher ABV if you want to sort of break through that sweetness more. That's
100%. Yeah, I mean, at least that's what I found so far. I don't know about you, Joe.
I think it depends on what the beer style is. Like, and the acidity and stuff in the beer style. I did a really good beer and chocolate pairing with Wild Beer Co. actually.
Okay.
And they use some of their more sour beers with the chocolate, and then that kind of brings out the fruit in those, and so that's really good.
Yeah, no, I think sour definitely works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only real alternative.
Yeah.
Because especially if it's like to be honest, that if that Dahlia Rose, the Dahlia, if it was maybe a couple of percent higher, I think you could pair that quite nicely with chocolate.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be really nice, like a raspberry chocolate would be wonderful.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at like chuckleberry, right? And I'm gonna have to be googling like what a chuckleberry is, because I don't think it doesn't even sound real.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had chuckleberry before.
To me, to you, no.
Yeah, I don't. So normally when there's like very niche British references, Joe can see that my face is just like, what?
But I got that one.
I actually got that one, and because that's exactly what I think of every time I see, like when I see chuckleberry, I'm like, oh, that's weird. Yeah,
such a good beer, it'll make you laugh. Like, I have no idea.
Just before I move on to the next one, the next pairing, Joe, I guess I've got kind of a question for you as well that people might be interested in, not to take it away from Ro for a second, but so I know, like as Ro said, obviously you do a lot of cooking and baking with beer. I know that there's certain ones that you sort of taste and you go, this is perfect to make this type of thing. Like how do you know how to do certain things? Do you go, oh, I've made this before? Is it trial and error? Do you know because you know the flavors really well?
It's just flavors. Like, you don't want anything, depending on what you're making, you don't really want anything that's got a lot of bitterness to it, like IPAs and NEPAs and things like that. If you're going to be cooking with them, you're going to be left with a lot of that bitterness, because you got to remember that a lot of what we taste in the beer is actually coming from the aroma, and some of that's going to cook off in when you're cooking, so you're going to be left with the taste rather than some of the flavors. But like, when you taste like a chocolatey stout, you're like, yeah, that can go in a dessert. Like, I made chocolate pumpkin spice cookies the other week with a pumpkin spice beer, because I was like, that spice is going to go into that cookie and it's going to act like the spices that you might add to it. So it's kind of balancing those things. Sometimes it's matching flavors, sometimes it's going, oh, that would pair, if I put that with that. It's just, eating food and tasting things.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a bit upset actually, because I saw you this past weekend and you made these cookies, and I see a single cookie?
No, I made them over Halloween, so you missed out. So
rude, honestly. But what are freezers for? What are freezers for? You knew you were going to sit. Well, maybe I don't think at Halloween.
No, we hadn't. No, we hadn't planned that weekend.
It's just rude.
Give you the recipe. You can make your own. You've still got some of the beer.
I don't want my own. I don't want my own. I'm going to move on now because I'm upset. So shall we go to the porter next? Is that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, go for it. But I just wanted to add as well, Joe, with regards to balancing flavors, I think what another thing is, it's all about making sure that the beer is almost like the missing ingredient in your pairing. So if it's a wit beer, then you want to pair it with something kind of light and maybe something fishy, or because obviously you could have a lot of say for instance lemon soul or something like that. You can kind of pair that quite nicely. Maybe that's going to be the missing element. So it is all about kind of seeing what's in your dish and then seeing what kind of flavors in your beer, and then just kind of matching based on that as well occasionally.
Yeah, I think we just had a wit beer. Both Joe and I had a wit beer from Mirakai the other day. It was really lovely. And
I love a wit. I love a wit.
I love a wit beer.
I don't know about you, Joe, but I definitely got like coriander in there. It was really lovely. And it feels like it could pair with something actually quite from my standpoint of someone that doesn't just go, oh, this flavor goes with this right away. It felt like it would probably pair quite nice with something a bit more floral, like something like a lavender loaf, or like a lemon loaf, like a citrusy loaf, or something that was just a bit more delicate in flavor, because that one came through in such a way that it just felt like it would really complement something a bit more light. So it's I want to try. I really do want to try baking. I've only got one can left, and I'm like, oh, I need to save.
You just have to go buy some more.
I know. I've got so much beer though. It's not good. It's not a good look. Right. So the next one that we're going to do is the Triple Point Baltic Porter, and that is paired with delicious almonds, lovingly roasted with black pepper. From, how do you say the company name?
Zena.
Yeah, Zena. I wasn't sure if it was an L or not, so I was like, I'm not sure if that's a capital I or an L. So
Joanna,
anyone watching the video, those are the next ones.
Yeah, I'm excited for this beer.
Yeah, we were just talking about Baltic porters the other day, and Joe was excited to have one of the Baltic porters.
Well, this is actually their collab with Bullion Chocolate, which is a bean to bar chocolatier. Chocolate maker. Chocolate maker.
Oh,
Choco.
That
in Sheffield.
Perfect.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. So Triple Point are actually known for making lagers, and obviously Baltic Porter is about far away from making lagers you can get, but obviously still kind of classified a lager.
I like that they put on, I mean, they might have on the Neeps end as well, but I like that this one actually has the hops listed, because I feel like in a lot of porters specifically, darker beers, I feel like that's when I don't tend to see the hops called out as much, like when there are hops, like there are noticeable hops in it. So it's the label is really nice as well. It's just very like clean lines. I'm digging it.
No, it's nice. It is. They've done quite well there.
I definitely get the chocolate. I definitely get the chocolate in it, and it's really nice because it's like a darker chocolate, but it's not bittersweet cacao nib, which is what I normally get a lot more like heavily bitter with that. And it's not like that at all, actually.
It's more like a milk. It's more like it's almost like a light milk chocolate, drinking chocolate almost.
Because it's a Baltic Porter, it's got quite dry.
That might be part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. All right.
Chocolatey like finish is really.
I'm trying one of these almonds.
Go for it.
Right, hang on, I'm catching up. Oh, that's interesting.
Have you tried them both together or just the nuts?
I've just tried the nut. Hold on.
Okay. No, that's fine. It's
going in for both.
Oh no, it's cool.
I think your notes have got it spot on, because when I first had the almond, I didn't get much of the pepper, but then when you drink the beer, you get that pepper warmth at the back.
Yep.
But then you get like the lovely creaminess of the nut and the chocolate, and then this warmth from the pepper at the back.
I was going to say the creaminess. The creaminess I 100% get, and I like that the pepper, like the peppery quality of it, isn't too, for lack of a better way to explain it, like it's not too abrasive. It's very, it makes it quite smooth, and they do blend together really well.
It was a surprise to me too, honest to God. Like I was pairing them. I had these really nice these really kind of nice little cookies. I can't remember what the company's called now, but I was going to pair them with these little cookies, and I was like, oh, these are great. And it was another sweet that went really well. I was like, I've got to pair them with these cookies. And then I was just like, okay, last ditch test pairing, let's try them with these almonds. What has happened here? This is amazing. This really works. And it's just that kind of like nut and chocolate sundae type pairing, and then you've got the I think the crisp bitterness, the dry bitterness from the porter. It enhances or makes the pepper a little bit more obvious, as well as the carbonation and the high ABV enhancing the spice, which it just makes it a really pleasant combination. I was really happy to find that.
I think you're right that the pepper in it, like the peppery quality, does come through sort of like towards the back end. It almost kind of starts out like a bit of like a saltiness, and then towards the back end it's quite peppery. But once you have a sip of that as well, it's really just lovely. Yeah.
Did you notice that you said there was creaminess as well, but it kind of enhances the sweetness of the chocolate as well, if you notice?
Yeah. I think it definitely makes the chocolate quality stand out a bit. I mean, it was already obviously chocolate, but I think it's made it stand out even more.
Yeah.
So when you actually do these pairings,
I'm very drunk.
I was gonna say,
Thank
like,
you for your
do
honesty.
you get like one can and then you go, I've got a whole bunch of snacks to try it with? Like, how do you
What's your
go about
process?
doing it? Yeah.
Mate, one can isn't enough. I I have at least like 2 or 3 of each of the beers first that I had to try and get through.
Research.
Research. Yeah, it goes straight into the R&D budget. That's it. Claim back. And it goes straight in, and it's just like, oh, it gets a bit too much towards the third one, but it's you do have to, because you keep trying them, you make notes, and then you see which one works best. You use a standard 0 to 10 scale, make additional notes, because who knows, you'll probably forget what they've tasted like in the morning. And yes, especially when you got a what was it, a 7, was it a 7, it's a 7.7 or is it 7%?
7.4.
7.4. Okay,
7.4.
7.4.
Yeah, and when you're doing the NEPAs, 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are just kind of normal in craft beer terms.
Yeah,
feels
those are
normal now.
standards.
I had a
Right,
6% the other day, and I had one that was like over 6% the other day, and I was like, oh, it doesn't taste like that. It tastes like a 4. And I was like, oh no, this is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, we don't need to address it now, do we?
No, I don't want to air my bad my bad
Drink responsibly, everybody.
100%.
Yeah.
Say it on these cans, it doesn't need to.
People will be I feel like people will be jealous of your being able to be like, you do beer and snack pairings, and then to prep for the ones you're going to do, you have to drink and eat all the things. Like, that just sounds like the dream.
I've got to be honest, mate, when you're doing all the testing, it's not actually very fun, because it's just, I'm not actually sitting down and enjoying it. I'm like, right,
it's work.
It's work. I've got a clipboard. Well, it's not a clipboard, I'm not that lame, but I am making
who's
notes.
the geek now? Who's the geek now?
That would have been more. Yeah, no, it doesn't have that enjoyability factor anymore. Like, I can't look at those beers anymore. I can't look at them.
Like can 3, you're like, I think I'm okay.
No, I totally get that. I got asked to do a beer tasting. Like, we were judging beers for the Kent Beer Festival once, and normally they'd get you over. Like, I seem to get picked for it fairly regularly when the Kent Beer Festival's on, because I always seem to be the first woman that they see with a beer in their hand and not a cider. So I get whipped over to do this testing of the beers, which, cool. Give me some beers to try, and I'll tell you what I think of them. But one year, the guy that normally organised it was ill, so someone else did it, and they were like, right, we're tasting 32 beers, and we were all like, how many?
You probably go beer.
He was like, 32. But he was giving us like half pints. And I was like, I'm not gonna get no, can we just have like less than a third in the bottom of a glass? Just enough to taste it. And by the end of it, like, we were getting to the end, and we were just like, that was fine. Because your taste,
like, good.
You're good. You're tasting, and your senses are just overwhelmed by it all, and you're just like, that's fine.
Well, unless it's really bad, you're like,
unless it's really bad,
you get an 8, you're good.
Sure.
No. Well, I think that's what's really good about the craft beer industry, full stop, is that when you're actually drinking craft beers, you are actually drinking for taste. You're not drinking to get sloshed. And the whole drink responsibility campaigns that the likes of Foster's and Stella and all that lot had on the back, and they even had the picture of the the silhouette of the pregnant woman, like, don't drink if you're pregnant. It's like, oh yeah, all right,
obviously,
that obvious one.
Right.
But I think that's it. Like, we're not really, these aren't to be drunk to excess, and even if they are high percentage, you're just going to have 1 or 2, because otherwise you will be literally on the floor, unless you're craft beer test pairing with snacks, then it's acceptable.
And you're you've got the snacks to keep you going. I mean, these are like so nice. Yeah. My husband loves nuts, so I'm not afraid he's going to be like, oh, can I have the rest of that bag? And I'll be like, I'm going to have to hide them, because they're really nice, and I think he'll really enjoy
good
those.
Nice. They're actually really nice. Yeah.
He would definitely enjoy those. Like, when you're doing the sampling, do you have to like drink water in between each snack so that you can kind of cleanse the palate and then be like, okay, start fresh? Or are you able to just sort of like go from one snack to the next snack without much issue?
No, I mean, I don't think we'd be talking today if I was able to do that. But or if I did do that, full stop. No, we have Jacob's crackers in between because there's nothing better to neutralise the palate than the most boring cracker in God's green earth.
Well, that's it. We're never getting a Jacob sponsorship, are we?
No, sorry, guys.
You just ruined that.
Shit. You just block it out. Block it out.
Yeah.
We're
I'll cut that bit.
We're gonna beep over that.
Crackers, right? Yeah. So that's basically it. So we have those just in between every snack, because otherwise you can't taste it. Water, unfortunately, doesn't do enough. Although I might need to start drinking more water in between pairing snacks.
Just for hydration.
Just for hydration.
just for sobriety purposes, yeah. More accurate pairing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the Jacob's crackers though. I think that's the best way to ensure that it kind of like sets your palate again and you go in fresh.
Yeah, it's what you said a minute ago as well about like the people in the craft community drinking for the taste, because we'll have, it's not to get sloshed. It's really funny because like there are notably like people that I do see that are like, they almost prioritize the ABV percentage over the taste. So I'm like, for me personally, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that's your preference, that's your preference. For me, I prioritize, I think, the taste over the ABV. So something could be quite a low ABV, but if the taste is so full, I really quite like complex flavors. So I'm like, if it's complex and there's a lot to like sort of take in on it, but it's 4% or 3%, like I would take that over something that is, I don't think as in depth in flavor, that's 8% or 9%, like and I do think it's just really funny how there is sort of a divide. There's some people that will very much go for, I just want the high ABV, if it's an interesting flavor, cool. And then other people that are like, nah, it's all about the flavor.
Oh yeah, it's strange that. I mean, that's kind of what I've taken for the box as well. So you see, you've got 3 different percentages there. Obviously, you've got your 8.5% NEPA, you've got the 7.4% Baltic Porter, and the 4.4% goes. And we're doing that with the next box as well, which I'm just going to very casually segue.
Yeah, do it.
So as this is released in December, which is the month we're in now, right?
Yeah.
And
it is.
So,
excellent segue.
So we are we're doing a Glasgow box, hence why I was having Vinny's drinks reviews, homebrewed red ale, and also because we're going to be teaming up with him as our resident craft beer enthusiast, and he's also done a cider as well, which I'm going to crack open, although this is not a cider program, but it doesn't matter, we can have one.
Right.
But as we've already chosen,
Craft Cider Club.
Craft Cider Club. It's got a great ring to it, alliterative, not quite. It's got so we've already chosen 3 beers. We actually really went through them and chose them together. So first one is Upfront Brewing's what is it? The Bourbon Oats Imperial Milk Stout with toasted coconut flakes. Toasted coconut flakes, coconut cream, and sticky Tongan vanilla beans. This is lovely. It's decadent. And talking of percentages, this is 10%. 10% on the
December.
nose.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself in December.
Exactly. Why the Baileys when you can have some Tongan milk stout,
Right.
And then we've also gone for Overtone, because why wouldn't you?
Classic.
You
got to,
to,
don't you?
Yeah.
But we haven't gone for on their IPAs. We've actually gone for their Spice Jam Sour, which is actually very kind of Christmassy. So it's a spice plum and blackberry sour, which will be really exciting. Still yet to know what I'm going to pair with this, but we'll see. And then last but not least, we've got Simple Things Fermented, or STFs, Twisted Pilsner. So we've gone very simple. We've gone for a Pils because I don't think we had a lager in this box, did we? No, so we didn't have a lager, so I thought it'd be good to introduce. And yeah, I think we're in IPA overkill territory, so I thought we'd leave that one out.
It's quite good that you compare like so much stuff with lagers. There's
it's amazing.
So much that goes with it. And I've never heard of that brewery. Josie, no,
they're really good. I need to drink more of them because I haven't been able to find any of theirs. Yeah, they're so good.
Never heard of them.
I had them at Brew London. So good.
They're quite new. They haven't been around too long, 5 or 6 months, I think. But Phil might kill me for saying that. I don't know. But I think, and I might be just spreading fake news, bro. I might just be spreading falsities here by saying that, but he did.
He's like, we've been around for 5 years. Like, what are you
we've
doing?
been around since we're older than Brewdog.
We were the original Brewdog.
But I think he did a homebrew competition and created this wit beer, which I think Jaipur actually produced, and they mentioned on their can. It's a really, really nice wit beer, and I remember we paired it for the podcast a few weeks back, and it was just like standard silver canning. It definitely looked, it was a standard Thornbridge can. I don't know what it was, but they just stuck the label over it, so it looked like it had just been recently produced. But yeah, I think that was him, and if it's not, then disregard everything I've said. We can edit it out.
If it's not, then that
See
was a
later.
joke. Yeah, I'd not heard of them, but I think that's like, I think that's pretty
that's
great.
dry.
I was gonna say, how is it?
Oh, it's dry. Oh, it's so. Vinny's actually from Gloucester, so he's really, really used to his scrumpies and his West Country cider. So this is
Scrumpy.
Yeah,
this is very scrumpy. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I quite like the idea. I'm joking, probably vouch for this as well. I really like finding beers that we've not tried before, things I've not heard of, and being like, I want to get my hands on that. Like if I see it in passing on Instagram or something else, I'm like, actually, I don't see many people talking about this. I'd quite like to try this and see for myself what it's like. And I feel like that. I mean, people are probably going to at me and be like, they're super well known, bruh. But I've not come across them, and I think like that's really brilliant, because there'll probably be a lot of people in my position that are like, Overtone, yes, Upfront Brewing, yes, and then they'll get that and they'll go, oh, that's actually quite nice, and they'll probably go and look into them more, which kind of leads me on to the whole beer and snack box thing. So
sure.
What made you ultimately make the choice to pair up with internet personalities, for lack of beer geeks?
Internet
I didn't know how else.
That's what I'm calling you from now on, Tori Bell. You are an internet personality.
Joanne, absolutely not. I quit. What makes you want to pair up with beer geeks? To
beer personalities.
Beer personalities.
Beer peeps.
I like that, beer peeps.
Yeah.
I think the idea was to try and get across this idea of community, to be honest, because my kind of like my day-to-day 9 to 5, I know you guys have 9 to 5s as well, don't you?
Yeah.
And so mine, without having to go into it in too much detail, is basically focused on shopping locally and encouraging people to shop locally, and just helping kind of independent businesses. So that's my 9 to 5, and then I try to espouse those values through this as well. So I wanted to every month create a box, team up with someone from the area. They could, we could work together, because I've got, there's a few guys on there that I've got pretty good relationships with, based on, having since Craft House Deli and before, and then get them to choose a few breweries that they really love, and then take a spoil of the profits. I say spoil as if we're it's some kind of treasure hunt, but trust me, there's not much profit there, but you can certainly try.
You mean you're not out buying your second Lamborghini?
Welcome to craft beer.
Craft beer, where everyone who works in the industry owns at least one Lambo.
Yep. We're all crypto enthusiasts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mad cash. That's why we go into the industry, isn't it? So
that's 100% why everyone goes into it. It's for those sweet cars.
Yes, it's for those sweet cars, and to be just like Brewdog. Let's just get
that's everyone.
Do not know that I'm related to James Watt. Anyway, carry on.
So do you, the people that you choose to work with, do you pick that just because it's people that you've interacted with, people you've built relationships with, or is there something in particular you look for to find like who's going to be your next box, for example?
I mean, not really. I think it's generally if we've mostly had a conversation in the past and kind of get on, then, and if they're from a certain area, generally they're from an area that I'd like to explore. I'll be honest, this box is entirely selfish. I mean, obviously Mel gets involved as well, but it's definitely
something for you.
So if I fancy a visit to Cardiff, then I'll do a bloody Cardiff box. You know what I mean? No, it's
I love that.
It's good. it's a great discovery opportunity, not only for me, but I like to share it as well, because the breweries that we have in the Sheffield box, Abbeydale, Triple Point, and who was the other one? Hang on, I should know this.
Neep's End.
Neep's End, thank you.
It's all those 10%ers and everything you've been drinking.
Okay, I mean they erode away the memory. So yeah, I mean it's a great discovery opportunity for me as well. And then I can go and speak to all the the independents there to do the podcast, which was actually just a recent idea that we had, to go up there and start speaking to some independent businesses. I mean, the guys up in Sheffield were absolutely wonderful. I've only released a couple on Instagram at the moment, and I think we'll come out with the YouTube and the podcast versions relatively soon. But a couple of the guys like the Pangolin and Industry Tap, Darren from Industry Tap. So he owns 2 bars there, and then he's opening another one in Wakefield. I don't really know northern cities very well.
Wakefield is in the north. My father-in-law lives in Whitby, and I know Wakefield's not massively far away. I'm not
gonna lie. I don't think it is Wakefield. Is it even in Yorkshire? I don't even know.
Wakefield's in Yorkshire.
Oh, right, okay, might be winning then. But anyway, he's opening up another one there. But he was lovely. He was so welcoming as well. Wouldn't let us buy a thing, and I was like, well, no, we said we'd pay for the beer when we're up. He was like, no, mate, you're not.
This is a record that we hear on repeat.
Yeah, because you're
similar conversations. You're like, take my money.
Please have my money. I want to give it to you.
Yeah, that's support you.
You don't need your support. No, it's fine.
But also it's the southern versus northern thing where they're all like so nice. And you're just like, stop being so nice to me.
And we're just not used to it, us southerners.
No, 100%.
Why are you talking?
Ignore me completely when I'm speaking to you. That's what I need you to do for me.
Why aren't you bumping into me when we're walking past each other in the
Why
street?
are you playing chicken with me to make me dodge out of the way? What is happening?
Why are you walking at an average pace of 10 miles per hour? What's happening? I don't understand this. Why do you have to walk so quickly in London? I don't understand. But yeah, anyway, so he slowly got us very, very drunk and kept on giving us free shit. So that wasn't great, but it was great. And we had St. Miles in the Desert in the morning as well. He wouldn't let us buy anything. Amazing. Even gave us some free bloody glasses. And I'm sorry, mate. So
we didn't get a chance to make it to St. Miles when we were up there, because it was literally it was a flyby visit. We were like, we're going to Brew. I didn't even have the full Friday off. It was definitely like we thought we don't need to stay Saturday night, we'll just come home Saturday. And then we realized all the stuff that we were missing. Like, so we didn't realize how early some places shut, and we were like, we have to skip St. Mars. We were like, it was the one place that we have to go.
Yeah, we have to go back.
Yeah, we have to go back.
Yeah.
The only place in that industrial estate worth visiting. I mean, there's nothing else around there. It's bad, and it's lovely, and the way that they've done it up inside is beautiful. Their dog's awesome. It has a St. Mars. He's got a Smod logo branded kind of little vest as well. It's cool dog. It's cool dog.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is it was so far out of the way for us that it closes at a certain time. By the time we get back, by the time we get an Uber and we get there, how much time realistically we have, and it just didn't feel like it was good time wise. Like, it felt it just wasn't, we wouldn't get the full experience. So we're like, let's just skip it, we'll go back, it'll be fine.
100%.
When you actually pick the snack, so I take it you kind of the beers get, so the process, correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of you partner with someone picks out the beers that they want to see in your box. Do you then go and approach these breweries and say, look, I want to get a beer from you to put in this box, and then you say, okay, I've got the beers now it's time to look for a snack to go with it? You know, if a brewery says no to you, like, I'm just trying to envision it. You go to a brewery and the first thing you have to do, I imagine, is go, can I put you in a box?
Yeah, well, pretty much. So can I put you in a box?
I know.
I need to put you in a box.
To be in a nutshell.
Can I put you in a box?
I don't know. It's just the way I knew as I was saying it. It just sounded weird.
It sounds really, really gangster.
I'm putting you in a box. Yeah, I am
Don't
really gangster, Joe.
Mate. There's no labels. Yeah.
I'm glad that you picked up on how gangster I am, Joe. Thank you.
That's right. West Side is the best. So we are. Yeah. So what happened? So yeah, I mean, with So we paired up with Andrew Dobson, Dobby Dobson, or Carling's Craft, whose face is on the leaflet.
Yep,
watching the video.
I mean, he is wonderful. Like, obviously, we teamed up with him back in Craft House Deli days, and he was trying snacks. And it's just his weekly shows are hilarious. He's just so funny and so engaging.
Friendly.
Oh, he's very friendly. If you guys ever have a chance to watch him, just watch one of his shows. I mean, he's a great lad, very friendly, very personable, and thought that he'd be a great way to help us out, kick this off. And he's also very patient because we were supposed to be launching this 2 months prior to when we did, so it was quite useful that. But then in terms of the choosing breweries, it's up to the geek, like how involved they want to be. For instance, Vin's not only has he helped me pick the beers, we took the beers with us to Glasgow and gave them to him, as well as some of the snacks that we picked up. By the way, some of the snack suppliers in Glasgow were amazing. They actually dropped off samples of their snacks to wherever I was doing the podcast.
Wow, that's so good.
And yes, so that was really, really nice of them. But so I gave him a few there, so he's going to be coming back with his feedback soon. And then with regards to Carling Craft, I just, I made a few selections, he picked them out, and then we went for them. But then in terms of what I do is I contact the breweries, ask them to send them a sample or offer to pay trade prices for them if they can, and then I can actually test them out properly, and then I make a decision on the actual beer. Yes, I love this is good quality, this is better. I had a thought initially, should I use Untapped ratings to judge this? Probably not. Ooh. I'll use my own palate. It's a point of contention, really, isn't it? I mean, especially when you consider like saisons,
so personal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And saisons, wheat beers, and lagers tend to be marked down considerably or even sours, unless they're pastry.
People don't understand them when they first drink them.
No,
exactly. I want a T-shirt that has those, and then just say like misunderstood on it, and they look like we're like emo kids. So that's what I would love.
We can make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the initial idea, but I thought I kind of did away with that. So I might as well just trust my own palate at the end of the day, because this is what I'm going to base it on. So choose at least 3 decent beers, 3 different breweries, and then try and get a few snack suppliers to send in a few samples if they can, otherwise pay trade prices again for them, and then pair them up. I have like a host of different snacks to try and make sure I get it right, because at the end of the day I want to make sure that they are the right pairing. Otherwise, what the hell am I doing with this beer and pairing subscription box? So yeah, that's the process.
Amazing. So are there any breweries that you're particularly hoping to be able to sort of collaborate with in one of these boxes, or any particular people that you're hoping to like collaborate with one of these boxes? What's the future? What do you want? What are you hoping for? What are you hoping someone will pick?
What are your dreams and aspirations?
What are your dreams?
What's your 5-year goals?
What's your 5-year goal? So my 5-year goal, my 5-year plan, if I go into it step by step. Do you want it day by day? No. So,
yeah, we do tomorrow.
Yes, I want your routine.
Yes.
What do you have for breakfast? So I think realistically the plan is just to see where this goes, and to keep expanding. I mean, I'd like to, I suppose, I don't know. I don't really have any high hopes to partner with anyone in particular at the end of the day, or have any specific breweries in. I think it's all about discovering. I think every brewery comes out with some absolute shocking beers from time to time, and then it's all about choosing the right ones, and whether they're available based on their weekly drops if they do those. So I'm not totally fussed. For me, it's more about discovering a different town and a different city. It sounds contrived that I'm saying that, but I'm not really a kind of massively into any one specific brewery. I'm into the beers, and as for the craft beer geek we partner with, again, it's if you're in the area, give it a go.
If you're somewhere where you want to drink.
Well, that's it. Well, I want to reach out to Real Ale Craft Beer. He'd be a good chat, because then I can discover. I think he's in Swansea or Cardiff, I can't remember, but he's in southern Wales, so that'd be cool. And then
areas you've probably never gone to, or that you've never gone to for beer, was probably
beer,
be quite interesting as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, I thought you were about to say that you've never been to. I've stayed in a caravan in Swansea.
No, I've never gone full stop, but I can imagine part of the law of certain places would be like you might have gone someplace, but you might not have gone there for beer specifically, so you might not know what's actually there in terms of good beer. So
no, absolutely. I mean, that's me and Mel were having this conversation on the way back from Glasgow. Obviously, she prefers to discover a town by doing some touristy stuff, and I'm like, well, I prefer doing it by beer. I mean, I will go and speak to some locals. I'll go to a Kneipe in Hamburg and or a beer keller, or I'll pop over to. I even went. I remember when I was in Florence about 5 years ago, and I went to Brewdog. No, was it Brewdog in Florence?
There is a Brewdog in Florence because I've gone to the Brewdog in Florence, and it is super tiny and hidden.
Yeah, it is. It's really dingy in there, but it was more craft than the modern Brewdog bars. But they had a lot of local beers on as well as the Brewdog ones, which was great. And I was drinking them up, and that's the best way for me to sample, like and enjoy a city, in my opinion. Drink through it. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agree.
Do that all the time.
No, 100%. I mean, that's why the beer snack box kind of takes on that guise as well. You can discover a new town by doing so and drinking through it. It's brilliant.
I think that's such a good idea. And do you ever see yourself going on to? You mentioned hot sauces and stuff in the beginning. Do you ever see yourself? We met the guy that does hopped sauce over the weekend. Where we were. So nice. Do you ever see yourself sort of branching out and doing things like? Because he does a lot of making his hot sauces with beer. Someone makes a hot sauce and they're using a particular beer. Would you ever consider doing a box where you're like, here's the beer that it's come from and the hot sauce that it's made with? There you go.
Are you sure you want to be sharing these ideas with me, Tori?
I share. This is what the podcast is. This is what the podcast is. My big brain
$1 million
ideas. You can have it. I don't have it because I'm not going to get off my bum to do it myself. I can tell you that.
I mean,
I just want to have the ideas. I don't want to execute them.
Man, you should somehow try and monetize that shit, man. Monetize the brain. I think that would certainly be something that we could discover in the future. I think right now, I mean, we're barely into month one of the box. So I think I've had thousands of little collab ideas. Like you know how the world's going mad for collabs at the moment. I kind of wanted to do this idea of creating beers that were collabs between a manufacturer and a brewery in a certain town. For instance, like it'd be like Ealing Brewery and electric coffee in Ealing, obviously, or something like that, whatever it would be, and make some kind of amazing espresso porter or something. I don't know.
Are you sure you want to put this idea out here? Because that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
It is a really good idea, but it's too much of an effort for me to execute. So everyone else can have it. Please go and do it. Please just reference me when you do it.
That's exactly how I feel. It's like, take the ideas, just give me some credit, and maybe give me a hot sauce every now and then.
Well, I know what it's like to build a business, and it's just sometimes it's a lot of legwork. I mean, but no, I mean, I think moving forwards, I'm sure there'll be other ideas that I'd love to branch out in, and maybe even doing my own collabs in the future. But I think that's a long way away. I need to get this into a nice steady process. Try and get a few more customers. That'd be good. And then just kind of see where it takes us. Pretty much.
I can't believe you're in your first month, because this all looks like such a finely tuned machine. Like, I know you did the snack stuff beforehand, but the way that this box has come together, like from even just arriving and the organization of the box itself and the way you've done the pamphlets, it all just looks like such a well-oiled machine. It doesn't look like, I didn't even realize it had only been a month. I feel like because I know that you had been preparing for this for a lot longer. We happened to meet each other at Bristol Craft. We met each other in Bristol when you happened to be at the craft beer festival there. We ran into each other and you were talking about this idea, and it feels like it's been going on for a lot longer than obviously it's been released, and it just it all has come together, I think, in such a brilliant way that it does seem quite fine-tuned, if I'm honest.
Well, I appreciate that. It did take a few months to put together and get all the licensing and, all the boxes together. There was also the pulp shortage on cardboard boxes that we had to factor in, or we didn't factor in because we weren't bloody told about it. So that put another month on the delivery. It's just a bloody pain in the arse, mate. Exactly. Who wants to think, So yeah, that was. But no, I appreciate you saying that. That's really kind of you. It's it's a long time in the making, really.
Right, so I know we're quickly running out of time, so let's do the last beer in cover. Joe, I'll let you announce this one. Which one's this one?
Right,
this is going to be your favourite.
It's gonna, yeah, it really is. It is Deliverance, a double dry hop mosaic Nepa by Abbeydale. Now I really like Abbeydale.
It's mosaic as well,
and it's mosaic. It's not one of my.
Joe loves mosaic. She loves IPA.
I like it. I don't mind a Nepa.
And this is the pairing with it. It's the pork.
Pork crunch.
And by the way, for anyone else who is considering buying this box or wants to buy the Glasgow box, because we obviously are in December, we can do replacements for any kind of nut allergies, or we can do veggie or vegan substitutes as well.
That's really brilliant to know, actually. I know a lot of people that love. There's a few people in particular I know that love craft beer. They enjoy having snacks of craft beer, but they are vegetarian or vegan, so it's not. I think that would, if they saw something that was a meat product or whatever, they might be like, oh, actually it's not worth it. But if you're saying, yeah, no, you can replace that's just really good, I think, for those people who enjoy.
No, 100%. We want everyone to be able to enjoy the box at the end of the day.
Let's see. Oh, it smells nice.
I'm getting loads of tangerine off it.
I'm not getting any broccoli.
No, neither am I.
Joe always gets broccoli.
I always get broccoli,
like hands down,
for mosaic, and I haven't offered this one.
And she's put it in my head as well. So every time if I don't see mosaic, I'll go, oh, that's nice. It smells good. The second I see it's got mosaic in it, I'm like, oh, it's a bit vegetal.
Does.
This one's not at all.
It's very orangey, so I can imagine that goes really well with pork.
Right,
here we go.
Ooh, it is really orangey.
I did that too close to the microphone.
ASMR. Snack ASMR.
I think this might be my favourite one.
There we go.
This snack is really nice on its own. Like, I only took one sip of the beer. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw pork rind, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, because I've had some really not great ones before. This is really nice.
It's easy eating. It's not too high. It's not too high salt. It's not too abrasive. It's not like a really intense pork scratching either.
Yeah.
You need something to kind of match. I mean, because it's a very kind of pillowy sweet New England. And to be honest, I they call it a double dry hopped, but I think it's definitely a double Napa. I mean, it's definitely pretty. It's very intense in terms of its kind of candy mouthfeel and taste.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Lovely.
I think like this. So this pairing is like sat in a craft bar on a Sunday afternoon. Like, it's a bit chilly outside, so they've got in one of those ones that's got like maybe a fire, or it's just nice and warm, and you got a nice beer, got a nice snack. It's a nice afternoon. You've had like 2 beers, and then you're like, oh, I'm a bit peckish now. Need some snacks. This and
what? I'm glad you like it, Joe.
Yeah.
I think with the New England, I really liked it. I think out of all the IPAs that I tried from these 3 breweries, this was definitely the best that I'd come across. And, and but the one problem that you always have when pairing like a New England with snacks is that it's hard unless you do something that is just the polar contrast. So I just went for something simple. Go for salty, crunchy. Happiness.
I think it's great.
I love salty crunchy.
Yeah.
So it makes me happy for sure. It is quite like light as well. It's not too like, it's not too greasy or too, and it's just has a nice lightness to it. I'm digging it.
I mean, it works quite nicely together, and it's just a very kind of obvious pairing, which is just demonstrating contrast of sweet and salt. It's like a chocolate covered pretzel, it's just perfect.
Love that.
It's really good.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
So we're nearing the end now. Do you want to plug your socials? Is there anything in particular you want to plug? I'm assuming you want to plug your next box a bit more as we're in December.
Yes.
It's perfect time for gift giving.
Exactly. So obviously our latest box, Beer Snack Club. If you want to check it out, go to beersnackclub.co.uk, not .com, because we won't be there. It'd be a bit weird, so don't do that. And if please sign up. That'd be great. Really appreciate it. Christmases are coming, so get your boxes in while stocks last. We're not going to do a Black Friday deal or anything. Sorry, this is December. There's no Black Friday.
Black Friday's been
post Black Friday.
Black Friday's
mate.
past us.
This is a post Black Friday society, and so we've got some very kind of Christmassy focused beers, but they're not festive in any way. We've got Overtone, STF, Upfront Brewing, all three very good breweries in Glasgow. A box is based on Glasgow. We've got 3 amazing snacks that are going to be paired with it. Please get them in. They're brilliant. If you just want to do a one-off box, you want to sign up for ever and ever, or do a quarterly, the ever and ever option 2 is my favorite, so do that. And follow us at Instagram at Beer Snack Club, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Amazing.
I think I'll just shout out as well the fact that you can pause subscription as well. So if you're kind of like, I want a few beers and snacks just to have every so often, you can do the monthly subscription, and then I notice you can also pause the subscription. Yep. So if you were like, I'm going away quite heavily in June or July, I don't want any boxes, then you can pause it, and I think that's a really great function to have. So thought that was worth shouting out. But yeah,
thank you very much.
Wish you all the best, because I think it's a really great concept, and
really
you've got some really good snacks that you don't just see anywhere, and I think it's really great. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is amazing.
Thanks, Tori. Thanks, Joe. That's really kind of you to say, and thank you so much for having me.
Anytime, you're welcome back anytime. I'm full now.
But I'm lost for words.
Honestly,
that last one was really good.
I'm just finishing the rest of it off now.
I've still got my pack of pork crunch.
I'm really full, but it's so moreish. Like I do want to keep eating. But
I've just got 3 snacks scattered across my counter right now.
They're all really good.
Yeah, they're all really good.
I think it's what really surprised me is I was genuinely expecting it to be more knowledge than just, oh yeah, I just trial and error things, and I read books and I listen to podcasts and stuff like that. Like I just expected this to be like, yeah, I have experience. My background is in doing this, that, or the other thing. That because I feel like the notes are so on point with the whole thing that you get, which you can see.
Yeah, you get a little leaflet.
You get the leaflet that's got the pairings together.
It's got notes on it.
It's basically who's doing it, where the box is from, who they are, and then on the back it's the pairings and sort of a brief tasting note. And the tasting notes are so spot on. The pairings are so good. I just think I expected him to be, I don't know, but I expected him to be like, yeah, my background is, I've got a cooking background, and I'm just like, he's really nailed it.
But this goes back to everyone's taste buds are different. Everyone, we can all be beer tasting experts, because you are the expert of what you taste. You can pair snacks with beer any way you want, because it's what's delicious to you.
Very true. Very true. But I feel like he's definitely got a natural knack for these pairings. That I mean, like I can pair things with my beers, but I feel like he does have this natural knack for just getting things so right. And the fact that he's able to do so in keeping it within a certain region, I would just be like, crisps. Like, I don't know. It's these 3 really unique snacks that I've not ever seen or heard of before. And I mean, obviously the pork rind I've heard of before, but like that, some of the stuff I've just not tried. And so it's really, I don't know, it's just really interesting. So excited to see the next few boxes that come out, because I think that the next month, this month's now, sounds really interesting.
Yeah, the December one sounds really interesting. I am excited to see what snacks are paired with those beers, because those beers all sound delicious. They're right up my street.
Yeah, it's perfect little treat for yourself as well, isn't it? Of like, you get and it's not too many beers. Like I think some subscription boxes, you can almost get too many beers. And if you're like us and you've got just the right amount of beers,
Just the right amount, not
just the right amount. Just the right amount.
Just the right amount.
You don't want to get like a big order of it that you're going to struggle to work through.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 3 is the perfect amount to treat yourself in one night. And
that's like a nice little like evening. You can share it with someone, with a friend or a partner or housemate. Stick a movie on, or yourself. Just have yourself. You don't have to share. You don't have to share. It's Christmas. Treat yourself. Like, but stick on a Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
Have your beers your beers and your snacks. How delightful of an evening does that sound? Stick some Christmas PJs on. Afterwards, treat yourself to a hot chocolate.
But even so, like past Christmas, I think it's
past
like
Christmas too.
New Netflix show comes out. Picture this: new Netflix show comes out, and you're like, I'm gonna marathon the shit out of this. Yeah. You've got a beer and a snack for each episode.
Yeah.
For each 30-minute episode.
Perfect.
I think it's perfect.
It's a date night in a box.
Or you can either have it all in one night, or you can like split it up and you can go. I don't personally tend to drink too much on weeknights, unless we're recording or anything else. But like, if you are a person that does tend to drink on weeknights, or you just like something nice to start your drinks on the weekend, you could be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, start with that and a snack, and then you branch off into other stuff. It's just, I feel like it's just the right amount overall, and the pairings are so good, and there's some really interesting stuff that he's putting in the boxes. So
like, I don't think I would like this Baltic Porter. I don't think I would have found that on my own. But that's exciting.
I've seen the Triple Point Brew and Post, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually quite interested in like trying those, but I never went out of my way to sort of get one.
Yeah.
But then I think for me, the Neeps end, like I probably would have seen that label and would have gone, I really like the ombre on that label. Oh, it sounds really nice. It sounds interesting. But I maybe wouldn't have put in like a direct order with Neeps end, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite good in giving you things that maybe you, at least one so far out of this box, or the box that we're having now and the December box, have I been like, yeah, I've not heard of that. And so it's stuff that you've heard of and you enjoy, and then maybe something new. So I think for me, it's well worth it, interesting. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what else they do. I really hope they do like hot sauce pairings, because I love hot sauce. give me a hopped sauce or a vengeful spirit and the beer that it was made from, and I'm super into it. So yeah, maybe not for you, but or cakes. Okay. I'll do chocolate and cakes box any day.
Chocolate and beers box. I will buy that.
I'll do Valentine's Day. That's a Valentine's Day idea. Take that one, Rose. That's free for you.
There you go.
It's another free for you. Anyways, I'm going to go finish the rest of the beer. If people want to talk to you about actually how much you enjoyed the Abbeydale NEPA, which
mosaic, no less.
Shocked, where can people find you?
If you want to come talk to me, I am a Woman's Brew on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I tend to hang out on Instagram. But if you would like to know about what even does DDH mean, people, what does that mean? You can come to my beer school and learn about things just like that. And my beer school is called Love Beer Learning, and we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I generally hang out on Instagram. We are also on TikTok. I got recognised from TikTok the other day, which is really weird.
You did?
I did. I got recognised from TikTok, and I was like, oh, somebody actually looks at those. Cool. Funny. And we are also on Pinterest if you are that way inclined. We also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. All the information about the beer school is there. It's got a lovely blog and tells you all about the episodes of A Woman's Brew the podcast. So good place to go. And you can email us at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com to ask us what we may pair with our beers, to tell us what episodes you would like to see in 2022. We are already starting our planning, so let us know. What do you want to hear about? Who do you want us to talk to? Where do you want us to go? We'll put that into our plan just for you. And if you would like to support A Woman's Brew the podcast and Love Beer Learning, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/lovebeerlearning. And you can come and support us for £2 a month. You can help us carry on providing this wonderful entertainment and education for all. Tori, if they want to ask you about being an internet personality, where can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to come chat to me about the breweries that I don't know about, but I should know about, definitely you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. You can get to my blog from there. I have been trying to do some more things on it. You know, even if I just post Instagram limits you to how much you can write, and
Yes.
I am a verbose person, so I tend
Blog
to
is a
overflow
perfect
that,
place for you.
and I put it on my blog. So yeah, that's linked through my Instagram. I'm on TikTok if you want to see dog stuff mostly. But some beer stuff. I've got a good beer one coming up. I'm excited to post. It's probably already out at this point. It's definitely already been posted at this point. And yeah, feel free to come chat to me about those breweries. Any food pairings you have recommendation wise, and any of that, I'm happy to chat. So I want to go finish the rest of this beer now. Cheers.
Cheers.